All right, Deep Media team, we're back, and in this segment, we're going to talk about Barcelona's transformation under Hansi Flick this season. Flick has taken Barca to a whole new level, and let's talk about tactical impact first. I think I'm going to go to Mas Firzi. Can you analyze Flick's approach to Barcelona gameplay in the season?
Yeah, well, I think not gonna go into deep for tactics, but I think the way he instills this team with that confidence, with that how he grabs the young players by the shoulders. I think this is way better than what I thought. What he can achieve at the start of the season, those two wins against Bayern Munchen, that 4-1 and that 4-0 at Santiago Bernabeu, like it shows how he wants to play, how he can ask those young players to be more than they are. Age-wise, they're still 17, they're still 18, but the way they play, they show much maturity. Playing that dominant style of football, and I think this is like a start of a good era. Especially, I think this is the start of a brilliant era, especially after Xavi last season, when I think there's 11 1-0 wins on their way to win the title, and I think with the way that La Masia grew their players, they absolutely want a Barcelona team to be not just winning, but by winning it with a certain style, with identity. True. Especially. So it kind of surprised me that Hansi Flick can grasp that idea very quickly and very much made this team like the Barca of maybe like the Cruyff era Barca, I think.
Yeah, do you think he's maintained the style, the general style of Barcelona, or has he introduced something new? Because sometimes I feel like this feels like a new Barcelona, but then again, I see a glimpse of the old Barcelona.
It's a hybrid from Hansi Flick.
True,
because,
it's a hybrid.
His impact, the ideas for that midfield to work very fluidly, and the flying wingbacks, Balde now, I think one of their best players so far this season. Jules Koundé playing as an extra defender, but while attacking, he goes to the side towards the forwards from the flank. Again, this is a very progressive idea from Hansi Flick, and I've been an avid advocate for Hansi Flick and his style since I did a game with you, I think, for that Germany-Spain game.
Okay.
One of the best matches in World Cup history for me, because we see two teams, I think, it was one of the best duels of two great minds, Enrique and Hansi Flick, and the way you see a big center back like Zula playing on the right side of defense and flying into midfield, unthinkable. And it's happening with Barcelona now, and the freedom that he gives to Pedri as well. He gives the keys of Barcelona to Pedri, and it's been working wonders. And I think the problem with the goalkeeper is not going to be enough for Barcelona to struggle. And Lamine Yamal also playing comfortable in the system. Rafinha as the false winger. This is also a groundbreaking tactic from Hansi Flick. So everything is working very well. It's fine-tuned, and Robert Lewandowski is reborn in this system, in this pattern, scoring goals for fun. His movement now is a bit more simpler and effective, and even Inigo Martinez is shining in that in that back line for Barcelona. He is a cover, but he's doing an absolute wonder of a job in that back line for Barca.
And speaking of Barcelona, I mean, it's great to see them won the Clásico last week, I think. What do you think the importance of winning a Clásico for Barcelona this season, especially under Flick's era?
Yeah, it's massive because one Spanish pundit, they say, he said, Adai Benitez, he's a columnist for Spanish media. He played for Girona once. He said that the players that won against Real Madrid, they sing the song they sing the same song after beating Madrid that they did 5 years ago. So it's like this is a continuation of their whole development as a player. They are Barcelona through and through. Pau Cubarsí, just 17 years old, but on his second full season. And when we analyze the passing data in that win again in the Bernabeu, Pedri was the number one player in that match with most passes completed. And Marc Casado was the second most player. So that two midfielders have the most pass completed in Santiago Bernabeu. Whereas Real Madrid, the player with the most passes was Antonio Rudiger. So that shows you how they can control the midfield even in their own rivals' backyard. I think people are expecting Madrid to be more, to have more answers to how Barcelona plays, because of course Barcelona also has quite a few weaknesses, but maybe that game where they lost against Osasuna, where they did too much rotation, maybe just one blip in the season. But players like Pedri, players like Rafinha, that Anigo, that Adi mentioned, even Robert Lewandowski in his he's 37 now, but he's scoring goals for fun. And some great goals there. I think the way he handled that team, because we all knew how they ended up with this team in the first place, because the financial turmoil that happened with Bartomeu, this team was assembled, I think, by accident, by necessity. I mean, by necessity, they have to pick players from La Masia, because all these limitations, this financial limitation from La Liga, not just from UEFA, but La Liga has their own financial fair play. They cannot register players that are more expensive than this. A lot of players that they got, I think, but with players like Kubarsi, like Casado, like every one of them that came through the ranks and in Barcelona, they all show that they are mature enough at this level. So we are at the era of football where 17-year-olds can be a pivotal player in a team as big as Barcelona.
And a special mention for Marc Casado. I think this is another talent, another blue chip from the academy from La Masia. A future Ballon d'Or winner maybe, because his vision and the pass that he gave, the assist, absolutely
that's crazy.
Absolutely brilliant. And then you have him playing for Gavi, who is coming back to his best again after the injury. So when you lose Gavi and you have someone
like
Casado, that's just ridiculous. The amount of talent that La Masia produces, and then you have players like Dani Olmo coming back in such great form. Slight injury for him in the early parts of the season, but now again a very crucial part of the squad. But when you see this and you see what's happening at Real, I think there's going to be a bit of a power change maybe, because now Real is going to transition from Carlo Ancelotti, which is not going to be easy. And Barcelona, if they believe in Hansi Flick and stick with him, I think this is going to be quite a tricky situation for Real Madrid, who were comfortable in the past couple of seasons after that maybe accident of Xavi winning the La Liga.
But is it going to be just another case of a honeymoon period when it comes to Barcelona and Flick?
It depends. It depends on the mood in the front office. The ownership is different from other clubs. But now they have the best manager, the best in class working for them. And Hansi, again, with the variety of tactics that he has, and now he is implementing it with the right players so young buying into his system. This is not easy, because if you come to that locker room pre-season with a lot of youngsters, they do want to work, they do want to impress the new coach and new manager. And Hansi, his first words were, "If you're not going to run for me, then the door is that way." So that is one very bold statement, and one that is very tricky in that locker room with a lot of egos in there, and it was going to be a very easy choice for the superstars to just walk away. But no, Lewandowski is proof. He's working very hard for the side. He knows Hansi Flick well, and the click between them is working downwards towards the youngsters as well.
I think, and when you can win 4-1 against Bayern with 8 homegrown players,
and then you back it up,
with that.
I
think that's such a sign of intent, such a sign of statement, such a statement week for them. And everyone in Barcelona, I think, will be very, very happy with what he did this season. Well, especially with the way he he inject that winning mentality. I mean, to players like Rafinha, he became captain. He became like that magnificent goal scorer that we know he can score quite a few worldies, but not as consistent as he is doing right now.
And now he's even better than the Rafinha we know at Leeds.
Yeah, much better than. It's like two different Rafinhas out there when considered how immature he is at Leeds and how raw he is. Yeah, he was at Leeds United. And now he's this leader of those young players, and I think, I hope consistency-wise they can keep it up, because young players it will be inconsistent. It's just the way it is with their development.
True.
I really hope that for those players they are not being forced enough, forced hard enough. Like Lamine Yamal, he played almost every game in the summer. He played pivotal roles for Spain. He's the number one guy right now also. He's only 17. He's been playing consistently since he was 16. We all know what happened with players who are being forced to mature faster.
Bukayo Saka.
Ansu Fati.
Ansu Fati.
Another discussion for
Jack
another
Wilshere.
episode.
Yes,
Long
Wilshere
one.
as well.
Jack Wilshere. Yeah, we saw the negative impact of players blooming too fast in European football.
Bukayo Saka came on while Arsenal were leading in the Carabao Cup. 3-0 was it against Preston?
Preston,
Yeah. Why? Why put him on?
Yeah, because
And so, continuing what Frizzy said about Hansi Flick and the youngsters, and I think this is a smart option from Hansi, winning the heart of the supporters as well, playing 8 homegrown talents in tough matches. So now I think he is safe. I think the Barca fans now acknowledges Hansi Flick as one of their own, with the 2 great victories and the way the team is playing. Attacking flair is back for Barcelona, and using the La Masia talent is key. So now I think the front office doesn't want to have a fight with Hansi Flick. So now everything is going rosy for Hansi Flick and his tenure as a Barcelona manager.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
So far, so good.
Of course.
Yeah,
I'm so happy for him.
Speaking of players, though, who do you think have improved or thrived immensely under Flick's guidance?
I think Balde.
Balde?
I think Jules Koundé as well. So defenders are key in that build-up structure for Hansi Flick, and the way he coaches the defenders. I think upgrades a lot of young defenders as well.
Kubarsi for me.
Kubarsi,
Like the way he played from last season, the way he matures instantly in the Champions League, the way he plays that game, that offside game against Mbappe is very, very great. Yeah, as I said, 17 years old, second full season with Barcelona is just unheard of, like maybe 5-10 years ago.
And if Flick can sustain, if they can make it to the next stages of the competitions that they're currently in,
Champions League.
Do you think Flick can sustain this level of performance?
I do.
You do.
I do think so.
Yeah.
Because he put a lot of emphasis on in preseason for physical conditioning. That's the one area where he put a lot of focus in. He wants, as Adi said, you either go work hard for us or you go home. That's the right mentality for these players. Yeah, but that, again, inconsistency for young players is normal. I just hope that when the time comes for that, the fluctuation in performance is not that different, because they still need that senior leaders like Lewandowski, Inigo Martinez. They can afford to lose Ilkay Gundogan in the summer, but I still think they need those big names on the bench, at least on the dressing room, to guide those young players. Even Inaki Pena, the way he made those saves against Mbappe, everyone like chipping in with all their might, and so and we all still wait how for the future, because Barcelona still hasn't played in the Camp Nou, so that's another incentive for Flick to maintain his performance, because right now they're playing in Montjuic. It's quite a bit farther from the city center than Camp Nou. So when they come back to Camp Nou, where all the majority of the supporters will come, and that will be a further boost for those young players.
Okay, so the main issue right now is only the consistency of the young players, and other than that, we're good.
Everything's
going really well
according to plan.
Yes.
Maybe
and with Real Madrid self-destructing themselves,
self-destructing. So it's going very positive for the young players in Barcelona, for Hansi Flick as well. And as long as Lewandowski is enjoying scoring the goals, it's going to be a fun season for Barcelona, and hopefully they'll win the La Liga, because the gap now is quite significant, although it's still early days.
Hopefully we can see some positive outcome from the upcoming matches. So what do you guys think, Jepret Media team? Please drop your comments below. What do you guys think? And we'll be back after this one, because we still have one topics to talk about. So stay tuned with us.